Today, we're going shopping and we're going to adjust my shopping list. If that sounds interesting to you, stay with me. Well, hi everybody. This is Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, and living a more simplified life. And you may notice that I'm in a different location today. I'm coming to you live from my car. And the reason is that I was doing my shopping list, and I have it here on my iPad to show you. You can see all the pink highlighted things are the things that I need. I primarily shop at Aldi. That is my favorite grocery store. I love the quality. I love the size of things. I love the convenience. It just works great for me. I'll put a screenshot up here of my shopping list so that you can see that I have my shopping list designed by the aisles that are in the store. So what is in the produce section, and then the second aisle beyond the produce section, and all of that kind of thing. It makes organizing my shopping very easy, and it makes doing my shopping once I'm in the store very easy, because I just look at the first part of the list, and then I go down to the second aisle, and then to the third aisle, and so on and so on. Okay? Unfortunately, unfortunately for me, Aldi's been doing a little reorganization, and they have decided that they are going to make all of their stores the same. But that means that the store that I generally shop at is going through some renovations. They're rearranging things in the store, and that has made the last couple shopping trips for me a little bit more difficult, because I think things are on aisle 2 when they've actually moved them to the back of aisle 4. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to take you inside my Aldi, and I am going to film what is in each aisle, so that when I get home this afternoon, I can make a better list, and I can adjust my shopping list to match the new Aldi that I'm going to be shopping at. Okay, so if that sounds interesting to you, let's do this together. And you can pick out your favorite store, do some videotaping or some photographing, and get your shopping list organized so it is quick and easy to find things. Okay. All right, well, I have my shopping bag and I have my quarter ready. So let's go ahead and get inside of my Aldi. Well, I had a great time shopping at Aldi, and I found some good things on the shelves, and I did some filming, as you'll see throughout this video. And today is the next day, and I have been doing a little bit of work I want to share with you. All right, so let's jump into the computer, and I want to show you how I want to set up or make changes to my shopping list. Okay? All right, here we go. All right, so as you see here on your screen, I am in my basic month section of my planner. This is the one that I copy from month to month, so any changes that I need to make, I usually make here, so that as I copy it forward, it will change as I need it to, okay, as I take it forward. But for those of you who are new, I wanted to quickly go over my meal planning page. There's a place here for me to put the month and the week that we're working in, the date of the week, that kind of thing. And then there's a little checkbox here that says review your refrigerator, your pantry, and your freezer for items that need to be used. That means any leftovers that you might have, or any produce that's starting to, fade away, any items in your pantry that might be expiring, or things that have been in your freezer that need to come out and be used. Okay? Now, when you do that and you review your refrigerator, there's a place down here that says items to use this week. So you might have some leftover rotisserie chicken. You might have some leftover salad fixings. You might, have just been gifted, a cantaloupe or something like that you want to eat. Okay. All right. So The second checkbox up here says clean out the refrigerator and wipe down as needed. It is always much easier to, as you're going through the refrigerator, trying to figure out what you need to use up, to take those things out, to throw away anything that's bad, to wipe the refrigerator out, and just kind of rearrange it, tidy it up. And that way, when you come home with groceries, you have a clean space to put them and a much more organized space so that you know what's going on. You pull those things that you need to the front or to the side so that they're in an easy location for you to find, okay? Then you might have a food goal. Oftentimes my food goal is to eat salad for dinner 3 times a week, okay? Or maybe you want to have a meatless Monday, or maybe you want to, cut down your portion size or something like that. Whatever your food goal happens to be, I give myself a place here to write that so it's top of mind, it's intentional, okay? And then this section here for important reminders. For me, that is things like, we're going to a baseball game, so we don't need to eat on Friday night. It's somebody's birthday, so, we're going to have a special meal for that. We're going out to dinner with friends. All of those kinds of things that you want to remember related to your meal planning, okay? All right, and as we go on down, this is a place where I look at the week and I say, okay, Monday through Sunday, what are some dinner things that I want to plug in here, okay? So this is a place for me to do that dinner planning, all right? I'm somebody that's very routine. Our lunches are always the same. We eat a sandwich and a half an apple. Sometimes the sandwich varies as to what we're doing, but if we're home, that's pretty much what we have, okay? All right, so I just am really planning dinner and then anything that might be snacks or specials. Again, if we're going to a baseball game and we want to pack some snacks to take with us, if it's, a special occasion and we're celebrating, what special event is that and what do I need for that item, okay? A game day, friends visit, any of that kind of thing, okay? Then going on down, you can see here I made a table for myself that is my favorite meals list, okay? And so for under favorite meals, I have things that are quick and easy. I have some good weeknight things that are here in the middle. I have some things that take longer to do, maybe in a crock pot or your Instapot or something like that. And then I have a whole long list of different kinds of salads that I like to have, okay? All right, so that's very helpful when I'm trying to think about, well, what do I want to have for dinner? I can just go down here, and if my goal is, salad 3 times a week, okay, well, I'll have the chicken avocado salad one night because I have avocados that I need to use. I'll have the garden salad with fruit one night, and maybe I'll have the spinach salad with strawberries and candied pecans or something like that, okay? So I think it's very helpful to have this list of favorite meals right here on my meal planner because then everything's all in one place and I don't have to jump around and look for it. Now, I do have a master's meal list and there's a link to that. Let's see what that looks like. All right, and you see here on this master meals list, originally this photograph over here, you can see, was taken from my paper planner that I was using in 2019. And so if you look closely, let me scroll in a little bit for you. You can see that I have a complete list of salads that we like, soups, chicken meals, pasta meals, veggie meals, breakfast, beef, turkey, pork, seafood, and takeout. And then you see I started doing that kind of as a master meals list over here. And my daughter is a vegetarian. She will eat chicken from time to time, kind of if she needs to. But I did add a little code up here that there are things that my daughter likes and there are things that we rarely have, okay? So you can see that color coding here on the list as well, which I think is a great idea, okay? All right, so that's my big master meals list. But here on this page, I just kind of have some favorites. Those are your go-to meals that are easy to do, all right? But the reason we're here today is to look at this shopping list. So let's move on down the page. All right, well, here in this section on the left-hand side, you see this is my old shopping list. So I had a column for produce, protein, and dairy. And then down below those, I had aisle 2 and aisle 3 and frozen food. These first 3 columns here were kind of my Aldi's shopping list, okay? And the reason that I did them in columns that are stacked like that is because the Aldi grocery stores have front rows, and then there's a little divider section, and then there's a back row of that same kind of aisle, okay? So that's kind of how I originally set this up many, many years ago. Okay. Then I had a section for other things that we might need, and I put a place over here for other stops. You know, I live about 25-30 minutes from the grocery store. So if I'm going out and I have other stops to make, I would list them here so that I could remember what I was supposed to do on that one big shopping trip. Okay. I have added some things that maybe I might get at Walmart or Target. Again, that Annie's vegan mac and cheese is something that my daughter likes, and plain unsweetened soy milk also is something that she uses. So I keep those on my list. I have some things here for BJ's Wholesale Club that I like to get there. And then there's a grocery store near us that's called Wegmans, and they have some items, and these are things that I like to get at Wegmans. And also things that I like to get at Costco. Now you may be thinking, well, Crystal, I don't understand. Is this a list that you use for what you need, or how does this work? Well, what I do is I have a list here of things that I frequently buy, okay? And for example, I just told you earlier that we eat a half an apple for lunch every day. So if I need apples, I will go up here to my draw tool. I will pick a highlighter. It does not matter to me which color, but I usually pick a color per month. So let's pick purple for April. And I would come in here and say, okay, I need apples when I go to the grocery store. I need spinach when I go to the grocery store, because I've already made this dinner plan up here. So I know what I need, okay? So I need apples, I need spinach. I might need berries if I'm going to do that strawberry spinach salad, okay? And I just highlight the things that I need, all right? Then when I'm at the store, I use my phone, and I hold my phone up and I bring up in OneNote the same page, because it syncs through the cloud to my phone and to my iPad. And then I, like I showed you at the top of the video, then I can go in here and I can use my eraser, which is right here, and I can say, all right, I got the apples, put them in the cart, erase that. What else do I need? Oh, spinach. Okay, I got the spinach, put that in the cart, erase it. Here are the berries. Let's get those, erase those, okay? So that works really, really well for me. It also works great, again, because my husband has access to my notebooks, my daughter has access to my notebook, or if they are, not wanting to bring up the entire OneNote app, I can simply go into OneNote, take a screenshot, and send it to them and say, okay, these are the things that we need to buy, okay? So that works out pretty good. Now, the problem that I said at the top of the video was Aldi's rearranged their shelves. And so all of my things are out of place, or a lot of my things are out of place, okay? So what I did is I brought home the video that I made from Aldi's, and I sat down and I said, all right, well, here's aisle number 1, and these are the things that are listed on aisle number 1. Here's aisle number 2, and all of the things that are listed in aisle number 2, and so on and so on. There are only 5 aisles in Aldi if you've ever shopped there. And then there's their back wall that goes along the distance of all 5 of those aisles, okay? So you can see here, I've organized this little chart right here to help me know what is in each of those aisles, okay? Now what I have to do is go over here and fix this list, okay? And I want to do something different. I don't like having these stores up here and the aisles down there. I want to rearrange it a little bit, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change produce to aisle 1, which is aisle 1, which is produce and bread products, basically, okay? So I'm going to leave that there. Now, if I look at aisle 1 on this side, where my layout is, prepared foods is there, so, there are things of pasta that are ready to go. There are little pizzas that you can pick up and take home, flatbreads, all that kind of stuff. Their prepared foods are there. I tend not to buy that a lot, but it is there in that section. And then they have all of their produce there, and their breads, their snack cakes, their crackers, and their cookies. That's what's all down aisle 1, the whole length of the store. Okay. So as I look at aisle 1 over here and I think, well, apples and oranges, that's still produce. Bananas, grapes, lettuce, spinach, carrots, snap peas, still produce. Cucumbers, broccoli, cauliflower, melons, berries, onions, potatoes. Potatoes are root vegetables. Onions are root vegetables. They are going to now be moved to row 2 or aisle 2. Okay, so I'm going to change this to aisle 2, which is root vegetables and snacks, basically. Okay, that's what's in that area. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to clean out anything that is not a root vegetable or a snack, chips, popcorn, all that kind of stuff, all the things that you see here listed in aisle 2. Anything that is not in that list, stew meat, ground turkey, all that, that's all going to come out. Okay. So we're going to cut all of that out, and I'll just go down here and paste it on the side so that I can remember that that's going to need to go somewhere. Okay, and then I can start moving things over. So onion, I can put that up there. Potatoes, I can put up there. Squash also can go in that aisle. Chocolates are on that aisle as well, so that can go over there. Peppers, I'm going to move those up because the peppers are actually in this regular produce aisle, and the honey wheat bread that we use is there. And I'm going to let these buns come down here by themselves. So that might be, hamburger buns, hot dog buns, anything like that. If you're doing something, special for a cookout, or, slider buns, whatever. Okay. They also have bagels and muffins and all that kind of stuff, but that's not something I buy on a regular basis. Okay. All right. So root vegetables, if I look here at column 2 again, root vegetables, fruit snacks, that might be things like applesauce. So I will add applesauce on here. We like to bake with applesauce, so I'll put that on there. Chips, pretzels. I like multigrain chips, so they're on my list. I'm going to move those up here. I'm going to move the pretzels up here. The banana chips are not on that aisle. They are with the nuts. Oh, wait, yes, they are, because the nuts is on aisle 2. So banana chips will come up. Crackers are in aisle 1, so I'm going to put those here. Salsa, that's Mexican food. That's with the Mexican stuff. That will be in aisle 4. Popcorn is now in aisle 2. Truvia and sugar, that's baking goods, flour and yeast, baking goods, soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, and sesame oil. Those are with the oils and vinegars now. Okay, so we'll have to fix those as well. All right, move them somewhere. Let's put all the things that need to be moved. We'll put them all over here together. Okay. Now, if we move on to aisle 3 has baby items, personal care, laundry, toilet paper, paper products, foils, and wraps, and then they're all defined. So we're going to change aisle, this says dairy, we're going to change it to aisle 3, which will be personal and paper. Okay, so that means that all of this dairy stuff is going to come out. And we'll make another column over here. Okay, and then we can go in and we can put things like napkins. So we'll highlight the napkins and they will come over. And the toilet paper will come over. And all of this stuff here So I'm really just rearranging, reorganizing. You can highlight and then drag it and see how the cursor jumps into that cell. If you click it at that point, it will move the cursor for you or move the text over into that spot. But if you just kind of drag it in the middle like this, it will make its own new container. And that's not something that I want. I want to keep this within the table itself, okay? And dishwasher tabs. Now I'm going to take cat food and litter off of here because I have been buying cat food and litter at BJ's lately. So I'll put that on the BJ's list, okay? All right. Looking back, baby items, I don't need that. Laundry, toilet paper, paper products, foil wrap, and Aldi's finds, okay? So that will be down here at the bottom, Aldi's finds. The next one is aisle 4, which is baking, spices, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm going to say baking and pasta, which it sounds like a weird combination to me, but remember the aisles are split into 2. So the first part is the baking stuff, then you have a split in the middle of the floor, and then the back part is the pasta and noodles and that kind of thing, okay? All right, so the flour and corn tortillas, those are actually in the bread section now. Noodles, spaghetti noodles, that's going to go up here in pasta. Oops. Drag it one more time. There we go. Up there, right there. And rice will go up there as well. And then we have mac and cheese, which will go up there. And oatmeal, that's a breakfast item. Breakfast items are in aisle 4 as well, down at the end. So oatmeal can go in aisle 4. I'm going to put it down a little bit farther in aisle 4 since it's near the back. Let's put it down here. And then we have baking items. And we also have pecans, and those are the little packaged pecans that you would use in salads or baking or something like that. They're different than like mixed nuts, you know, and whole shelled nuts and that kind of thing. Chocolate chips will also go up here like that. And then we have green beans, which is a canned vegetable. Now, where are canned vegetables at now? Oh, canned vegetables. Canned vegetables are right here on aisle 4. So we are going to put those green beans in aisle 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm going to put them down here because, you know, they're kind of in a different spot. And so I want to put them there. All right, chicken broth, kidney beans are also going to go up here with there. This was my abbreviation, kidney beans, and then I also did black beans. And diced tomatoes is also a canned vegetable, and it will be in that area as well. Chicken broth. Chicken broth is going to come off my list because I have not been buying chicken broth anymore. I have been at Costco. I have been getting the Better Than Bouillon little can. It's a glass jar that I can keep in the refrigerator, and I have been using that instead of chicken broth. So that's going to come off of my list. Okay. All right. Now, all of this stuff right here, all this messy stuff that's supposed to be in aisle 5, that's all going to come off. Put this over there because that needs to be put somewhere. We can erase Walmart because we're going to make a list down here for Walmart and Target. So let's do that. Let's go down here and say Walmart, /Target. And that's where we will put the Annie's vegan mac and cheese. And we will put the plain unsweet soy milk. So that gets rid of that. Can erase that now. All right. And we can go up here and erase Target. And let's take this BJ's stuff and cut that. And we'll paste it over here with our other stuff that needs to be moved around. Actually, we can do BJ's. We can cut it and paste it. Canned vegetables, cut and paste. They often have, sell cases at a time, which is nice. And then that's a good way to stock my pantry for the fall. They also have these Morningstar patties that my daughter likes. And so if we're going to have a burger or a chicken sandwich or something like that, she will often have one of those Morningstar patties. Okay? All right, so that gets rid of this whole little list over here. We can delete that. So now we have Walmart and we have Target and we have BJ's, and frozen stuff is going to come up here in aisle 5. So you see aisle 5 at Aldi's is frozen stuff, coffee, soda, drinks, and then all the dairy kinds of things. Okay, so the tater tots can come over here. That's frozen. Shepherd's pie, that's one of their prepared meals. Frozen veggies like corn or broccoli, that kind of thing. Red bag chicken is really good. And then they also have ice cream. Let's do this, get rid of this table shading. There we go. Ice cream. They have an Arctic bar that is much like a Klondike bar that is delicious. Actually, we did a taste test and I think the Arctic bars are better than the Klondike bars. However, they stopped making them. So I can't get those anymore. All right, pasta dinner, that's one of those things that I might get in the prepared food over here back in aisle 1. A big thing of fettuccine or something like that for my husband. And then they do have a frozen lo mein that's pretty good. So we'll put that over here with the frozen stuff. Okay. And then my Wegmans list is okay. My Costco list is okay. This is not going to be frozen anymore. I don't know if I have another store that I frequently go to. I do usually go to Wise if I need something really, really quick. So I'll add that in there as the other store that I typically go to. Okay. All right. Now let's take these last few things here and we're going to actually need to move this over because the back wall makes the 6th aisle. So I'm going to need to add a column here. So I'm going to come down here and highlight and go to table and add a column. Insert a column and I want it to the right. So now I have an added column there. I can make it a little bit bigger simply by, all I'm doing here is moving my container, making it bigger, and then that will spread out the rest of these rows. And then I can go in and adjust each row if I want to and make it so that I have plenty of room. Okay? All right, so this will be the back wall of Aldi's. And that is all the lunch meats and cheeses and all of that kind of thing, which I tend to buy a lot of cheeses. So let's do this. Let's say the lunch meat is going up on the back wall. Bacon is actually in the 5th aisle, so I'm going to put that there. Regular chicken breast, fresh chicken breast is on aisle 5 as well. We can get rid of this color shading so I don't confuse myself. Okay, let's see. Pork chops, tenderloin, all of those can go over here on aisle 5. The one thing that I love about Aldi's is they have nice small portions, you know, for just my husband and I, so I really like that. I don't usually buy ground turkey there, so actually I'm going to take that off the list. I'm going to delete that. The hummus is one of those things that's on the back wall. Red pepper hummus. The G stands for garlic, in case you're wondering. Sometimes we buy garlic hummus. Sometimes we buy red pepper. The peanut butter, they actually moved to the end of aisle number 1. But if I look at aisle number 1 right here, it is full. So what I can do is I can go here to my table and I can highlight that and go up to the table and I can say insert a row below, and that will give me a new row there. And then I can add peanut butter. They've put it on the end cap there. I don't know if it's going to stay there or not. We'll see. Ricotta cheese is also along here the back. So let's put that up here. Parmesan cheese. Cut that and we'll paste that up here. But you guys get the idea, right? So like all of this stuff here, the almond milk, the creamers, and all of that, that will go in aisle 5. So again, I can just copy those and paste them where I need them to be. Eggs is also in that aisle. Like so. Okay, so you guys get the idea, right? So once I have all of these things down here, these last 4 or 5 things added into my list, let me scroll in so you can see, I will have a much cleaner list for Aldi's. I'll know exactly when I walk in that the produce is there, and as I go through that first aisle, these will be the things that I'm looking for. And then aisle 2, these will be the things that I'm looking for. And aisle 3 is all of the paper products and all of that kind of thing. That's a short aisle, but they also have their Aldi finds here, which, you know, takes up the whole back of that aisle. Okay, so I'm leaving this space here so that if I know there's something coming up in the Aldi's finds that I want to be sure to pick up, I can write those in here. Okay, and when I write them in here, I usually take my Apple pencil and I usually, or, you know, sitting here, and I will write, you know, maybe they're having a set of spoons that I want to get. So I'll go in and write in spoons like that. It's not something that I buy all the time, so I don't want to permanently write it in there. I want it to stand out a little bit for me. And then once I get to the store and I find the spoons that I'm looking for, I can simply erase that, and then I'll have a place to put the next week's Aldi's finds because they change every single week. Okay? All right. So I think this is going to be a lot handier for me. I do have a few more things to add into here, but then what I'm going to do at the bottom, as you can see here, is I've started a list of things to pick up if I'm either at Target or Walmart. Things that I primarily like to buy at BJ's, those cases of canned vegetables. Biscotti, dark chocolate biscotti is such a treat for me. The Morningstar patties for my daughter, cat food and litter, that kind of thing. Then there are things that I typically buy at Wise, so I'll add those in here. Things that I typically buy if I'm going to Wegmans. For example, they have a Tuscan garlic bread, which is absolutely, oh, it's so good, so good. So every time I go to Wegmans, if I'm in that area where that store is, I will go in and pick up some things from Wegmans. All right. And then I have my Costco list here as well. And let's move this little chart down out of the way. And I'll talk about that little chart in just a minute. Since I added another column, some of these things got moved. I got on a key lime kick, and I was looking for this key lime juice. And so I have it listed here. And so I know exactly what the brand is and stuff. If I'm ever in one of these stores that carries things like that, I can look for that. Okay. And then these are some additional things that I need to add to my Costco list. It's getting quite long. And then toilet paper I put in here just because I needed it last week when I was shopping, and I just wrote it in there so that actually can come out. Okay. All right. So I think having this new and improved shopping list is going to be very helpful. It was very helpful for me to be able to go into the store. And if you don't want to videotape in the store, you could take photographs of, even the aisle markers at the end of some of the stores where they say, in aisle 3, there's, this and that and the other thing. Some of the stores are huge. I know Wegmans has, I don't know, seems like 45 aisles. So, organizing your grocery list based on the way they have their store laid out helps you get in and out much, much quicker. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this revamping of my shopping list. I hope it gave you some ideas for your own shopping list and, ways to make things more simple for you in meal planning, figuring out what you're going to eat for the upcoming week, figuring out what you might need at the grocery store, and then having that list organized by aisle so that you can get in and get out and avoid some of those impulse buys that we are all susceptible to. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. I so much appreciate you guys. And here's hoping that you can live a more simplified and organized life through better planning. I use OneNote. Until next time, okay, happy shopping and bye.